first trend in adoption that we saw won't be a surprise to anyone, and this was data adoption for AI and ML. So companies invested massively in image data, text data, audio data sets, and all of this was being used to train AI and machine learning models. And I think the even bigger highlight from this investment in data was seeing the innovative use cases that were being powered by these AI and ML systems. So for the likes of fraud prevention, more accurate medical imaging and in healthcare, powerful generative AI, so chatbots and image creation tools. This started at the beginning of the year with the mass adoption of ChatGPT, and we saw the trend not diminish at all over the course of the year, rather just increase month over month and into different kinds of media that AI was broadening into towards the end of 2023. So that was the first thing that we saw in the course of this year. And then also we saw a big adoption or an increased adoption in import and export and global trade data. So I think this came as a result of an increasingly tense geopolitical situation globally, and lots of conflict that arose in 2023. There were shortages of certain goods, and companies like retail and manufacturing companies invested in this kind of data to ensure that they had a clear vision of their supply lines and imports and exports, so that they could avoid reputation damage or customer loss that would be incurred if they were to be the victim of not having the right supply at the right time or delayed stock, things like that. So that was another uptick in data adoption that we saw, people buying import and export data sets. And then the final trend, which is kind of related to the import-export data trend, was the increased adoption of B2B contact data. And in this case, it wasn't just for more traditional use cases like lead generation or marketing use cases. Rather, it was just about businesses having the right contact information for the right contacts at the right time. So they needed this information before anyone else and before it was too late. So the supply chain example applies here. People needed on-the-ground info from companies for what's going on at a given port or the pace of production at a certain manufacturing company, so that they could avoid costly delays. And this B2B contact data and also company and employee data more generally enabled stakeholders to react rapidly when we saw the walkouts and the mass layoffs at big tech firms earlier on in the year. So this data underpinned some of the wisest decisions that were made in recruitment and in investment, because people had the right information, within minutes, and that made all the difference when it came to reacting quickly and making the right decisions in response to these walkouts and layoffs. So those were big trends that we saw in 2023, and they were also articulated on our marketplace when we saw the increase in people buying these three kinds of data.